Okay guys, so I'm back. Let me just get something so I can point out to what I did. So basically I just took off these two screws here, that one and this one, and I'm able to remove the ESC from the cover. And again, we're gonna have to run this fan, and they supply you already with plugs, an extension plug here. So what I'm gonna do is I am gonna plug this in, and you can see there's a male and a female here. So just follow the grooves. If you can see this here, it has grooves here, and then we'll just plug it in like this. And then this is just going to plug into the receiver for power. Okay, so however you want to get it into your box, your receiver box, is how we're going to do it. I'm going to grab go to my toolbox here. I'm going to grab some snips like this, and because I don't want to take off all of these wire looms, I'm just going to cut this here. So let me just kind of loosen this up where I got some space. Would be the best way. Got space here because we really don't need this plastic sheath, and I really don't want to have to and we have 3 here, so let me just see. I'll use my light again that I got just to help me see. I'm gonna have to cut 1, 2, and a third. Okay. Oh, let me make sure that's off, and we'll just pull it through. Okay, so we don't need this. As you can see, here's the fan, the stock fan, the Arma fan, and look how small that is. So this is the only thing that's cooling your Typhon ESC. And the whole purpose of me doing this again was when I did a bash. I did a bash session. Yeah, all right. I did a bash session in front of my house, and when I took off the cover, this is actually like a half an hour later. When I took off the cover or the body off of the Typhon, let me show you the body of the Typhon. When I took this off, I just noticed that there was so much trapped hot air in here that I'm afraid that the electronics would actually, lose longevity or lose some longevity there, because there's just no way that the hot air could escape. I mean, just looking at the body, if I were to put this on, it's basically trapping all of the hot air. There's no vents or anything. So what I did with my Dremel tool was basically just cut some relief hose here in the stock body as best as I could, and hopefully the hot air could escape. Even for like air intake, we're gonna have to rely on just some of the vents that's here. Let me see if I can line up the body posts here. Let me get this down. So here's the body post. So there's not much air intake if you look at it. You know what I mean? So if you look at the front, this is the only way air is gonna enter the chassis. There's just no ventilation. So at least we have hot air that can escape here. What I was thinking of doing is maybe drilling some holes on the top, or maybe some on the side here, just to get some air into the body. Or I could kind of ream this out and make a hole here. I think that's what I'll do, because I don't want a direct hole on the top so that water can get in here. And I don't want to make a hole here so that if any dirt and debris or water from the tires as it moves gets into the body there. So what I'll do, I'll get my Dremel and I'll cut some relief holes on both sides here. That way it's closest to the ESC. There's some way of air getting in, and now we have air getting out. Okay, so let's take this body back off, and let's try and route these wires. So we have our ESC fan. I'm gonna have it come around, so I'll just make it come around here, and we're just gonna pick a plug. So I'm gonna grab my battery, plug it into an available port on the ESC, and whether or not it works or not is just knowing what's positive and negative. Unfortunately, this doesn't have on the plug which is positive or negative, so I'm just gonna guess that positive is on the inside, negative is on the outside. And I'll just plug it in here to port 3. And we can test it by just getting a LiPo battery. Let me see if I have a 3-cell LiPo. It's not fully charged, but it has enough charge. I think I have like 3.7 volts available on the last time I took this out. So this still does have a charge. Let me just double check it. Whoop. Where'd it go? Okay, so let me check what the charge is on this. Again, this is a 3-cell battery. I have my LiPo charger or voltage checker here. Plug it in. 3 cells. Checking all. 11.4 volts. Cell 1, 379. Cell 2, 379. And the cell 3 is 381. So we have enough charge to plug it in and just to check the fan. So I'm going to do this without plugging it into my transmitter. But again, we just want to check the fan. So plug that in, turn this on, and look at that, guys. Look how much air this blows. And you want to make sure that you know which way it's blowing down. Well, maybe I'll suck it out. Not sure yet. So you know what I do? I'll face it so it's blowing down. So blowing down is this way. So Protek facing up, it's blowing air down to cool the ESC, and then we know it works. Okay. So now that we know it works in the orientation that I want to put it in, basically all I need to do now is just look at that. Look how much air this is blowing onto the motor, on the heatsink on that. Okay, so now that we know which direction it's going to be blowing down, all I have to do is move this battery out of the way. Is again route my wiring around here so I can get to the ESC. And all I'm doing is I'm going to use a pair of pliers just to get into that rubber grommet. So as you know, there's a rubber grommet here just to get into the receiver box. Going to pull it up a little, just like that. And with enough slack, or just enough slack. You don't want too much slack. We're just going to mount this in there. So as I push this down, it's going to push that rubber grommet back in. And this is just to help keep the receiver box waterproof. So just like that. Okay. So let's put the cover back on. We have to get this back in there too. I guess this wire came out once we had the other wire in, so push this down as well. Just like that. What is all these other wires? Just gotta make sure. Let's see here. So we have some wires in here that I want to make sure that I'm routing really, really well. So this is going to come around. This will go. Okay, I understand. I'm going to route this around as well. There you go. This is going around. This is my wire going directly to the ESC. So wire management is important, guys. You don't want to bind anything or break up any of your wires. There could be a fire hazard, or again, just losing control of your RC. So that's done. All I need to do is put the cover back on. And it is kind of busy in this receiver box because, again, as you know, I have the Dumbo RC, transmitter and ESC in here. This is the EX. Gotta be careful here, guys, because look, I already see like there's a pinch on this wire here, and that's my antenna. So I'm gonna be careful that I don't cut this wire. See there? There's already a bind there. So gotta be careful, guys, when you put things back into your receiver box that you're not closing in on any of your wires, because I know it's out of sight and you put these back, but you don't want to be messing up with any of the electronic wires because you'll lose connectivity. So hang on, guys.